Every now and then I get asked by buyers, which do you prefer, Ala Moana or Kakaako? They both have their pros and cons, and today we're going to compare the two. We're here at Ala Moana Beach Park, and behind me I've got Kakaako to the west and Ala Moana to the east. And this is the delineation mark, which is Pi'ikoi Street. Okay, so we are here on a Sunday, so you hear a lot of Harleys out for their weekend stroll. But yeah, once again, everything to the east of this is going to be considered Ala Moana, and here you're going to have the premier or highest end condo complex in Ala Moana, which is Park Lane. We've seen some of the penthouses here go for as high as 24 to 27 million. And just to get into a one bedroom here, you're just looking at just under $2 million, and those are going to be facing Pi'ikoi Street here. But all the primo ones here on the front are going to probably run 4 or 5 million and on up from there. There's high-end amenities. There's a back door to Ala Moana Shopping Center, which is one of the perks for all these second homeowners from overseas, as is residents. And then when they come down an elevator in the back, it'll take you to Foodland Farms, which is just right here off Pi'ikoi Street. And then Ala Moana is going to stretch this direction, and then out to the right here we've got Magic Island, which is a man-made island. When they built Ala Moana Shopping Center, what they did was when Dillingham dredged all the coral to make the shopping center and everything, they kind of made a man-made filled island out here at Magic Island, which is also another beautiful place. Here's another perspective from Magic Island looking back on Kakaako, and it is a weekend, as I mentioned, so it is a bit more crowded today than it typically be during the week. It's a Sunday, so everyone's out, weather's beautiful. But this kind of outshoot here is all considered Magic Island that wraps around out in this direction, and then it's going to come back this direction towards Waikiki. And what I'm going to get into in a second is Ala Moana is a significantly smaller MLS neighborhood, say, than Kakaako. You have a boundary on this side where the Ala Canal shoots out. So every tower we see from here across the waterway is all going to be considered Waikiki. That's the watermark at Waikiki. Behind this tree coming up here is going to be the Ilikai, which is an iconic building. And if you want to learn more about the Ilikai or the Ilikai Marina in Waikiki, I'll pop a link up here to tell you a little bit more about those two buildings. But what's nice about both of those locations is they are zone resort, so you can do short-term rentals. But yeah, I won't talk too much about that because today we're going to concentrate once again on Ala Moana and Kakaako. So out to the right, there's a great surf break. It's called Ala Moana Bowls. It's primarily a left for those of you goofy footers, and we're in the fall and the waves are kind of flat right now, so there's not a whole lot going on. There are two yacht clubs here in off the Alawai here. You've got Waikiki Yacht Club and Hawaii Yacht Club. But what I'll show you here is these two towers out in the distance. That's going to be Yacht Harbor Towers. They were built in the 70s, but those two towers there are going to be on the far east end of Ala Moana. Just to give you a perspective, got some trees here, and then you got the shopping center straight in there, and you've got Kapiolani residence and a couple newer towers there, like Sky Ala Moana out in the distance. Some of the newer buildings you'll see there. And then once again back to Yacht Harbor Towers. And then to give you some perspective from Magic Island, that building there is called One Ala Moana, and that's on the backside of Ala Moana Shopping Center. Those are some high-end condos as well. Again, here's another perspective of Yacht Harbor Towers, and one thing I failed to mention is that's going to be Ala Moana Hotel. Those are legal vacation rental condos, primarily studios and one bedrooms, but they're all individually owned and you can rent them out short-term legally. They do not come with parking. And once again, One Ala Moana here, and for perspective, that's going to be Ala Moana Shopping Center directly out the back there with Neiman Marcus is going to be kind of right there, dead center of the mall. and a little more perspective of Park Lane in this direction. Okay, here we are for another perspective. Got Neiman Marcus behind me, and then Ala Moana Beach Park and Magic Island is where we just came from. Here goes the beach park, and then once again another perspective of Park Lane. We are in October, so gosh, probably a month or two from now you're gonna see a gigantic Santa Claus pop up right here for the holidays, for Christmas. And then once again Neiman Marcus, kind of dead center in the mall. And then you've got Morton's Steakhouse out the back. But one of the huge selling factors, obviously, of being in Ala Moana is going to have all the amenities of the mall here, which is at one point in time the third biggest mall in the world. It's one of the largest outdoor malls in the world. And then you have Yacht Harbor Towers once again on the far east side of Ala Moana. And then in this direction, you've got some high-end retail. You've got Bloomingdale's, and what you can't see from here is Nordstrom's around the corner, and then that Foodland Farms that I'd mentioned. Here's the backside of Park Lane, and you can see how you got Bloomingdale's right next door. Okay, now we're coming up the western end of Ala Moana as far as the neighborhood goes. We're on Atkinson Boulevard, and behind me here is the Ala Moana Hotel. Just to give you another perspective. Here's the backside of the Ala Moana Hotel. Those are hotel condos. And what we're gonna have to the west here, these are all gonna be, that's the backside of Yacht Harbor Towers, which we pointed out earlier. Condos in the distance there are technically Waikiki because they're gonna be across the canal. And then you have some older buildings like Atkinson Plaza here, and then down around the corner you're gonna have an older building called Summer Palace. And then right back this direction you've got Atkinson Towers, which is gonna be that building there. They have nice views over the canal. What's nice about, or what's different about Ala Moana, I should say, is that it's a little more affordable entry price point, say compared to Kakaako. Here you can start to get a condo in the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 range, whereas in Kakaako you're probably looking closer to $600,000 and up just to break into the market. Now what we have across the street here is ultimately going to be the Mandarin Oriental. This has been under construction and attempts to sell condos here for coming up on probably at least 5 years now. Still has not broken ground. You got Kapiolani residents there. And then across the street over there, that's technically going to be another neighborhood, which is called Holiday Mart. And that's Kapiolani Manor. So that's on the Mauka side of Kapiolani Boulevard. And then we've got the Hawaii Convention Center here. Here's another perspective of the convention center. And then once again, Mandarin Oriental Hotel and condos at some point. They're talking about building these. But this gives you a little more perspective down the Kapiolani Boulevard corridor. Here you see a little bit of Sky Ala Moana out the back. And for well over a decade, 15, coming up on 20 years, I've been talking about Kapiolani Boulevard being the Wilshire Boulevard of Honolulu. So, but yeah, once again, everything on the Mauka side of Kapiolani Boulevard, even back there, what we have there is the park on Keeaumoku, so that's an entirely different neighborhood. So today let's stick to Ala Moana and Kakaako, and I'll show you around a little bit more. Okay, now let's take a walk through Ala Moana Shopping Center. Once again, this was one of the largest shopping centers in the world at one point in time. It's one of the larger outdoor malls still to this day. And here we are at Center Stage, which is an entertainment venue to host events, and then my daughter's actually had the privilege of performing there before. Now we walk into the food court, this is the main original food court, and you've got everything you can think of, from plate lunches to sandwiches to steak, seafood, vegetable items, cuisines from all over the world. And then as we walk further back, it'll just kind of give you an idea of how expansive it is. And then there's new to Hawaii, relatively speaking, is Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A is in the back here, and you see a big line there. Now as we head back up to the second level of the mall, this is going to be second of 3 levels, and to the far east side of the mall, Macy's is going to be the anchor tenant, and the west side you're going to have Bloomingdale's and Nordstrom's. Now as we wrap up Ala Moana Shopping Center, I want to take you back across the street to Ala Moana Beach Park to give you another taste of the amenities here before we hit Kakaako. These public tennis courts right across the way, because not every building in Kakaako or Ala Moana are going to have tennis courts. Some do, some have private courts. But this is one of the beautiful things about living in Ala Moana or Kakaako, is having the tennis courts right across the street here near Magic Island. And you got a great place to swim right out the back, which I'm going to show you. So once again, you got the tennis courts here, all the frontline buildings on Ala Moana and Kakaako, and then Directly across the street here, you've got a nice protected area with a barrier reef on the outside. So during the summer, you're gonna get some nice south swells out that direction, but what most people love here about Magic Island is all this protected area here to swim and take out a paddleboard, etc. And it stretches down here. When I used to be in the fire department, we had our water safety training here, swimming long laps. And you can actually run the beach as well. You got Diamond Head out the back. So the big difference between Ala Moana and Kakaako is the retail space here is definitely a lot more sprawled out. It's spread out over obviously several miles, whereas in Ala Moana everything's quite concentrated towards the Ala Moana Shopping Center. But here's a nice little place here, South Shore Market. Take you through a quick walkthrough here, but let me spin the camera on first. This is a collection of shops here on the east side of Kakaako, on the east end of Ward Village, and this is kind of like the hub of Ward Village, the headquarters for the Howard Hughes Corporation, which is the old IBM building, which is a historic building designed by Vladimir Osipov, who's probably like the Frank Lloyd Wright of Hawaii, most famous mid-century modern architect here in Hawaii. And then to the right here, there are going to be two luxury towers. I talked about this in another video, named Melia and Ilima, that are going to go up here. They've already sold a lot over $1 billion in pre-sales. If you want more information about that, let me know. And then this is going to be Kakaako's original luxury tower, Hokua, right here on the front row of Ala Moana Boulevard. Got some great restaurants here. I'm going to run you around the corner because there is one little community park here on the back side of Olani. Olani was a building developed by Crescent Heights around 2006, but there's a little playground here for keiki, and that's one of the perks here in Kakaako. Here in the South Shore Market, you've got Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, Lansing Golf, a lot of cool boutique shops, Rock Candy, there's a High Life, and then around the corner here, there's a really cool kind of sandwich and smoothie place in the back corner here. High Life. It's called Nalu Health Bar. They've got some great things in here. Okay, as far as restaurants go, Ala Moana definitely has its fair share. We talked about the food court here, but you have a lot of higher end fine dining places here within Kakaako. You've got Merriman's directly behind me, which is at the base of Anaha, which is one of the first luxury towers by Howard Hughes. It also may trump, no pun intended, entertainment when you compare it to Ala Moana. You've got center stage at Ala Moana, but there's a number of entertainment centers here within Kakaako. For instance, you've got live entertainment today here at Merriman's, and then right next door you're gonna have a gigantic movie complex here, and then right back this direction at the main Howard Hughes headquarters, they put on events. They have ice skating during the holidays, and open it up for community events as well. And then, oh gosh, about a half mile block in this direction is going to be the Neil Blaisdell Center, which hosts a ton of entertaining plays, shows, concerts, etc. And then right across the street from the Neil Blaisdell Center, you're going to have a symphony, ironically named Symphony because it's across the street from where the symphony performs. Now, in addition to Merriman's, as I mentioned, there's also the same restaurateur owns Moku Kitchen, which is on the west or salt side of Kakaako. And then there's another really great restaurant down here I'd highly recommend called Istanbul, which is going to be right down the corner here. We've got an Island Brew Coffee House, and then across the street you have a 60,000 square foot Whole Foods. In Ala Moana we talked about Foodland Farms, but obviously Whole Foods is the mecca as far as health foods go. We have Whole Foods right here in the center of Kakaako, and then you've got some newer towers out the back like Io and A'ali'i and Ko'ula, and the park is going to go in this direction. I did a whole video about that. And then Waiea, which is arguably like the first luxury tower done by Howard Hughes, and then Victoria Place behind that, which just wrapped up coming up on a year ago when owners got the keys. Okay, so not every condo project in Kakaako is gonna be a high-rise. What I've got behind me is 400 Kiawe. The mixed-use project done by Castle and Cook, which is primarily known for developing homes out in Mililani and Koa Ridge. But yeah, this is 400 Kiawe. It's a mixed use, like I said. So you've got condos upstairs and retail downstairs, which has kind of become a trend here throughout Kakaako. And then you've got the collection across the street, which is a typical high-rise in Kakaako. And you've got retail downstairs here as well. Here's the back side of Salt at Kakaako. And then out the back here, we've got Tower 1 and Tower 2 of One Waterfront Towers. And those were developed by Bruce Stark. And kind of like that second wave of development right around 1990-ish, right around when Nauru Tower was done. The opposite end of Kakaako. Okay, now we're on the far west side of Kakaako, and I've got the collection at Ala Moana directly behind me. As I mentioned, this building is the furthest west condo on Kakaako before you cross the street to get in downtown Honolulu and Restaurant Row. But right next door, what I love is this is Salt at Kakaako. You got Moku Kitchen here, Starbucks, Lani Kai Juice, and a bunch of other shops and restaurants directly behind me here. Did I mention Lani Kai Juice? Too good to pass up. Well, I hope you enjoyed my tour today comparing Ala Moana to Kakaako. They both have their pros and cons and are wonderful in their own ways. So to learn more about either neighborhood, or if you're thinking about buying or selling in Ala Moana or Kakaako, feel free to reach out and give me a call at 808-371-3509. Mahalo.